My name is Thilaga and I'm from Kuala Lumpur. I guess I'm a community organizer and I do research primarily on gender and sexuality, and I primarily also on the issues that affect LGBT people. I started off as a teenager, young person, volunteering with a lot of different NGOs. I was volunteering with the Malaysian Aids Council, so I was involved in like HIV/AIDS work. I was also like working on like sexual reproductive health issues for highly vulnerable young people. In Malaysia, there's the civil law, which is centralized. It applies to everyone, regardless of religion, race, your background. It covers different sort of things. Whereas Sharia laws have limited jurisdiction, right? So it's only on like divorce, family laws, and things like that. Unlike the civil law, the Sharia laws are state laws. In 5 states in Malaysia, it says any male person who poses as a woman or wears female attire in a public place is guilty of an offense and can be fined X amount and can be imprisoned X months or to both. Whereas in 9 other states in Malaysia, it actually says any male person who wears female attire or poses as a woman in public space for immoral purposes is guilty of an offense and can be fined. In terms of the cases that we have seen, and like if we look at the Human Rights Watch report that came out, you can see that the kind of arrest that takes place in all the states are pretty similar. Like for example, in Kuala Lumpur, which includes the immoral purposes in the law, you still see trans women who go out to buy nasi lemak, for example, getting arrested or getting picked up.
I am a picture of fear.
Walking the street
in my attire,
I hear the shout and jeer.
Justice for Sisters was started in response to the arrest and detention that we heard in Negeri Sembilan, particularly in Seremban. In one of the series of like meetings that we had, we met with this trans woman, this young trans woman. She had been arrested, I think, 3 times at that point, and she had a pending court case. So one of the options that was presented to like us and everyone was this constitutional review of the law itself. And so we filed the case in the Negeri Sembilan High Court, and then we did not get a good decision at the High Court. And then we filed an appeal at the Court of Appeal, and we got a very good decision in 2014. And then the Negeri Sembilan state government decided to file an appeal against the decision. So we were in federal court, and I think in 2015, the application was kicked out based on technicality. The issues were not necessarily discussed, but on technical grounds, the case was dismissed. Yeah. And so that's how Justice for Sisters came about. We still operate as a network of people. We continue to provide legal support if people need legal support, and we also continue to document cases and monitor cases of arrest. As human beings, we all have, regardless of who you are, we all have a sex category, we all have a gender identity category, we all have a sexual orientation category, and we all have our gender expression, right? The way we express our gender. Sex and gender are 2 different things. And a lot of times people look at our genitals and go oh, if you have a penis, then you're a boy. If you have a vagina, then you're a girl. And I think a lot of times we are very, very obsessed with genitals, right? And we want to know if have this trans person, had surgery or not. Why do you care? And I think this is the kind of shaming that body shaming that trans people have to face. And then you also have gender, right, which is very different from your sex. Gender refers to how you feel about yourself and how you identify, right, in terms of gender. So for someone like me, I don't identify with any gender, right? And I think that's also a political decision, philosophical decision or whatever. A large part of my childhood was also trying to figure out where do I fit in terms of this gender categories, right? In terms of gender identity. Like I don't feel like a woman, I don't feel like a man, I feel like, I'm somewhere in between, and or not, I'm somewhere outside, inside, wherever, right? And that's fine, that's extremely fine. And people should have that space to explore themselves and discover who they are.
It's you, it's me,
It's me.
it's you.